Welcome, everybody, to U.S. Options Complex Order Book Redesign webinar. I'm Todd Wildman, your host, and I'm joined by the always illuminating Amy Farnstrom. Amy, welcome.
Thank you, Todd. It's good to be here.
So we're refactoring the complex order book. Is that the technical term, right? Refactoring?
Well, there's two pieces to this project, and one of them is more on the technical end of the spectrum, non-client impacting, but we're doing quite a few things to make the complex order book more scalable, to reduce latencies, to make it more homogeneous with the outright order book, and we'll have some additional details as we move forward. Today, let's focus on some of the business, initiatives that are part of this project, and what our clients have been asking for, and what we're happy to be able to announce that we'll be delivering.
Excellent. That sounds great. I know everybody read through the overview, and then of course, here's an interesting little definition for code refactoring. I probably should have moved it while you were talking, but it's an interesting thing, something new.
Right,
about.
Right, and while as I said, the refactoring will be transparent to our clients in many ways. The benefits of moving in this direction are multifold in terms of capacity and throughput and just a seamless interaction with the outright book. So again, very excited about that. And but yes, let's focus on what we're doing.
Some of the new stuff.
Yes.
So we have some new order types for the complex order book, and I guess the most important, the sad thing, the most important thing to realize for everybody out there is this is still pending rule filing and approval with the commission.
That's true. We will be working on getting this rule filing together and submitted in short order, and hopefully it's a non-controversial add, since we are joining several of our competitors in offering the expanded suite of order types here.
Right, and they look like pretty normal order types. We have the first one, a new all or none order type that's going to be introduced. That's going to be good for people.
Right, and the goal here is just to offer our clients and order sending firms the full suite of order types. Obviously, the all or none is something that folks use quite a bit in the outright markets, and we anticipate that we'll get some good activity in the complex order book as well. Just like in our outright markets, the all or none order types will come in, they'll go into a working process and monitor the complex order book as well as the leg markets for execution opportunities. And once the size requirement's been met, they'll elect and trade either within the complex order book or against the outright legs.
Okay.
And it's not here on the slide, but fill or kill is definitely part of the all or none order type offering. Didn't put it specifically here because it is really just an all or none with an IOC time and force. But just to be clear, that will also be offered. And those do on the inbound route to the complex order book will make the decision whether they can trade with the complex order book, with the legs, and satisfy their minimums, their size, or they'll cancel back to the user.
Okay, that's good.
So just standard processing.
Standard thing.
Yeah.
So if you never realized it, for people to make the connection, all or none plus an IOC equals a FOK. Interesting stuff. And now we're also going to be introducing the GTC and for complex books, and we're going to create a new GTC hotel for them.
Yes, that's our nickname for where our GTC orders go to stay overnight until the following day. So there's a few things that clients will be expected to do. Obviously, if we are accepting orders that live for multiple days, then part of the client order ID field will be the current date. We'll reject an order back if there's a duplicate client order ID already on the book. And then just as we do in the outright books, before any type of links are opened for our clients in the morning to send or manage orders, those GTC complex orders will be loaded into the book and available for modifications, cancels, anything that clients want to do with them once the system comes up. So if there, we'll talk more probably in the next webinar about the D5 variant for complex messaging, because that's one of the things that's part of the refactoring is some new symbology that will be used. And clients that connect with us over ArcaDirect will have the choice of using some of these new message structures or sticking with the ones that they have now.
Okay. Because everything's backward compatible.
Just about. There's a couple of things we'll talk about that are not backward compatible, but for this, yes, these are optional for clients to code to as they choose.
And before we go to the next page, I think the one that everybody is looking forward to, new order type, is the cancel replace.
The cancel replace is some functionality that is long overdue, and we're very excited about it. Again, we'll have volume and net price modifications supported on fast cancel replace, on the regular cancel, and that's over ArcaDirect. Again, optional for those folks that choose to use the new symbology. We'll also have cancel replace over fix, and we'll support changes in volume and price. We will also be able to change, our clients will also be able to change certain administrative things about the legs, right? So if they're not using fast cancel replace, they'll be able to change the leg from open to close, right? Do things like that, but no changes that impact the strategy itself. So if we receive a complex order for 100 contracts on a 2-by-3 ratio, we could certainly get a cancel replace to make that 200 contracts on a 2-by-3 ratio, but you couldn't change the ratio.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
right, because then it's no longer the same strategy.
Then it's not the same order.
Yep.
Basically, you've changed up the order. Okay, very good. So we're going to start the opening of the complex auction. That's going to start being a little different. Now, has this changed? That we've always only accepted limit orders and PMP plus limit orders, right, in the auction process?
Well, so today we don't actually have a complex one price opening auction. With the introduction of GTC order types, the likelihood that there'll be additional trading interest in the book during pre-open that needs to be paired off will increase, right? If you can have GTC orders that live in the book for several days, along with the day orders that come in, we need to be able to provide a one price opening, and that's what the complex auction will do.
Okay.
So we don't support market orders in the complex order book currently. So limit orders, PMP plus limit orders are eligible for the opening auction. Orders marked for complex order auction, the price improvement auction, those need to be submitted during core trading, not during pre-open. And then all or none orders will also not participate in the opening auction.
Okay.
So it's very similar, again, to our outright auction process, where we come up with a price where the most contracts can trade. There may be an imbalance afterwards, but where the most contracts can trade on a single price is where we'll open each complex strategy.
Okay.
Okay? So the opening parameter for complex orders is slightly different than for the outright series, although it is based on very similar logic. In the outright series, we require a legal width market maker quote or a combination of away markets and our market or an NBBO that is legal width to open the individual series. For the complex order book, we have to go through that process for each series because all series associated with the complex order have to be open before that complex strategy can open.
Makes sense.
Right? The difference is because once we go through that opening process in the outright markets, folks can go $5 wide if they choose. And so for an additional level of protection for our complex opening auction, we're going to use the implied NBBO.
Okay.
So that just means the best markets anywhere on each series summed to a net debit or credit derived NBBO.
Okay.
Okay, and that way we ensure that we're opening based on the best markets available in that strategy across all exchanges.
Okay, so that makes sense. That totally makes sense. So it explains all that. Okay, so once we see that, then we go on and we have these parameters that we see here, the premium-based caller values and all that.
Yeah, actually, can we go back to the last slide just briefly? So if, just to be clear, so folks will understand how these parameters work, if the NBBO is better than our top-of-book BBO, then we can open on that market. So if we're a net debit dollar bid at a net credit of $1.20, and that's the NBBO, and we're not on any of those markets, then we can use $1 to $1.20. On the Amex, if there's customer orders at those prices on the BBO, then we will narrow the opening auction collar by a penny times the smallest leg ratio to ensure that each leg is at least a penny away from the outright market when there's customers. That's Amex.
Okay.
On ARCA, if we're on the BBO, we always have to price back by a penny times the smallest leg ratio. For both ARCA and Amex, that's dependent upon our top-of-book markets being able to satisfy the ratio of the complex order.
Our BBO, our
yes,
best.
Our best, yes. If that's not the case, then we use the NBBO opening rule.
Okay. And I think we have some examples of
that.
A couple of things. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because if you're looking at either the second to the last bullet or the last bullet, when we're talking about 0.01 times the smallest leg ratio, basically what we're talking about is moving, just like our PMP plus orders, moving it by a penny by the smallest increment, trading leg increment out there. So that's a good thing to go through. And then
these are just some additional rules here. Right. Obviously, if we don't have a series, if we have a series with no offer, we can't calculate an NBBO. So that means no offer on any exchange.
Right.
Then we wait, and so then if it's interesting on the bid side, if the offer in the no bid series is 75 cents or less, we'll just use a penny as the implied bid, and that's just to make sure that we don't reverse price a leg to zero price. So
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Prevent future problems. I always like that. So again, on the opening price for complex order auction, it's going to be a one price opening.
Yes.
On all the opening auctions. We give price priority to the original limit price based on the matching orders given to highest bids, lowest offers.
Correct.
So on Amex, you still have the customer priority.
That's right.
Remember,
at all times.
At all times. And we're looking at a price where we can trade the most volume.
That's right.
Within that auction parameter.
That's right. And
then the last thing is, BBO derived from our leg market, top of book, not open, not equal to the implied NBBO market, then we're going to wait.
No, if our implied BBO is not equal to the implied NBBO market,
then the NBBO is better than ours, then we'll start it automatically.
That's correct.
And if ours is better than the NBBO,
then we need to calculate if we need to price back by a penny times the smallest leg ratio or not.
Thank you for clearing that up for me alone. Okay, so a couple of examples, and you already talked about this. So the NBBO is better than our BBO, and NBBO market 15 at 20, our BBO 14 at 21. We can run the auction, open the complex series.
That's right.
So, but let's say the NBBO of the smallest leg is a penny better than our BBO, then we have to, on ARCA, we would price it in by a penny, but we're going to have to wait for conditions to change. But on the Amex, as long as there's no customers there, then we can still run it with a penny better of the NBBO. What you said earlier.
Well, this right here, the NBBO, if the NBBO is very narrow, then we just need to wait for the conditions to change. If we're not on the NBBO, we can certainly go ahead and open. But each of these bullets here sort of says, let's take a look. If it's as narrow so that we have to touch one side of the book or the other, then we are forced to wait for conditions to change.
Okay.
All right? Because the outright markets will never participate in an opening auction.
Say that one more time for us, though.
The outright market will never participate in an opening auction. So
we're never going to leg out.
Correct.
That's the important thing.
Yes.
Never leg out. Okay, very good. That's interesting to know. That's always good to know. So we have a couple of new mandatory fields for our clients.
Yes, we do. So these are the things that folks should pay attention to in particular because this is not optional. So if you're using the complex order book today, regardless of whether you want to take advantage of the new order types, cancel, replace, fast cancel, replace, as the case may be, you will need to make these changes. And we did client outreach on this, got very positive feedback that these were changes that can be absorbed. That was a few months ago, so this is a friendly reminder that these changes are coming in the first quarter of 2014. We're going to have a couple of drops to the CERT environment starting in January. So folks will have a chance to come into the certification environment and test for these.
And we send out trader notices for this when that CERT testing is available.
Absolutely. So the first one is for the complex leg ref ID. Right now we have I think 31-character alphanumeric leg ref ID for each leg.
Wow.
So 31 characters times the maximum of 5 adds up to quite a bit of information that has to be stored. This is part of some of the refactoring of the code so that we have a lot more capacity, we're a lot more scalable in terms of our order tables. And one of the trade-offs is that we're moving to a 4-byte numeric-only leg ref ID.
And we can get rid of the complex order book table.
The order leg table.
Order leg table.
And so, again, it will look much more like the outright book, the outright, the way we organize the outright orders in storing them. And,
more scalable.
And it's more scalable. But, the end of the story is that clients have to make that change with us in order to continue using it.
Hence why it's a mandatory.
Yes. The second one
is even better.
So the price field expansion is just to prevent us from overflowing the price field. That means, for cash values of very large, so large ratios, right? 1,000 contracts by 1,001 contracts. Something that is very large, very high dollar figure. That can add up to a lot of decimal places, in front of or behind the decimal point. So the binary price field is going to go from 4 to 8 bytes, and that just makes it so that we can handle total cash values of up to $100 billion.
$100 billion.
Yes.
Yes. Nice. So, wow, that's some major legs on some complex orders.
Hopefully we won't have to scale this for a while.
Yeah. Yes, hopefully. Yeah, because that would be some major inflation here.
Yep.
Again, I want to remind people, start asking your questions right now. So real quickly, going back to what we said earlier, that we're going to be dropping this into the CERT environment. Now, this has already been coded in, right?
So we're nearing completion with the code. It's going to be delivered to our testing environment shortly, and as I said, it's coming in a couple of drops into the certification environment. So we'll have additional details, for this probably the first part of January in terms of mandatory minimums. This is another good topic for us to be addressing right now because we do have an enhanced certification environment now. And, based on client demand, we are going to move toward a more robust certification process. So depending on, a participant's role, whether they're an order sending firm or a market making firm or a proprietary trading shop, there's going to be sort of different requirements for certification. So, for example, anybody that's sending in a complex order to the system because there are no market maker quotes, there's really no differentiation here. We will have mandatory cert testing for the complex leg ref ID and the price field expansion.
Okay.
And folks will be expected to participate at that level to ensure that we're ready to move forward. That there's no rude surprises for a client when the change goes into effect.
Okay. Very good.
We do have, I see a question here from a participant on the call. We do have specs available for the complex refactoring. Those are posted on our website, and we encourage you to take a look. You'll see what you need to know for the leg ref ID, the price field, the order types, everything like that is up on the website now.
Okay, NYSE data.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Good to know.
And another question here: when will this functionality be rolled out? Well, we'll know more when we get to the first cert drop. See how testing goes, participation, because there are some non-backward compatible elements to this release. Part of our rollout plan will be dependent upon clients getting into the cert environment, getting certified, and then we'll move forward. But we are certainly targeting the first quarter of 2014 to be completely rolled out.
Okay. So we're going to be hitting the ground running here very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is get your running shoes on 2014.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of rollouts coming in 2014.
We do.
It's going to be a very busy year.
Yeah.
XTP, we have the new complex auction and other interesting stuff that if you read the Federal Register, you know what's coming. So read the Federal Register.
We have another question. Todd, you can speak to this.
Yeah. So we will post a PDF of the PowerPoint, and we'll post a link to this actual webinar on our U.S. Options Education page. So if you go from NYSE ARCA Options or NYSE Amex Options, if you look right at the top, look for the education link, click on the education link, and then go to U.S. Options and webinar. And so those two things will be posted there by the end of the week.
Okay.
So, Amy, I know you have
We have one more question here. It says, will these changes be applied on complex cross orders as well? So currently we are in production with only the single-sided complex order auction, an RFQ-based request for price improvement. We don't have paired order crossing in the complex order book, but specs for that and more information will be coming out as we get closer to filing for rule approval for the complex auction functionality for paired orders.
Okay, so that's coming.
Yep.
Soon, very soon. Exciting stuff. I know, Amy, you had to catch a flight, so I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
I want to thank everybody that joined us for this webinar. If you have any further questions later, you can, of course, contact either Amy or myself. And then, of course, here's where the webinar is going to be posted. I think I said Education Center, Learning Center. Same thing, Learning, Education, 6, half dozen.
It's good to get the actual address here if folks want to take note of that so that when you go to the website, you're easily able to find this. Todd, how long does it take for this to get posted to the website generally?
Usually we're about a day and a half turnaround time, so by Friday it will be posted.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, so look for it there. I guess that's it.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Amy?
We'll speak with everyone again in early January with some additional details about what's going to be included in the first drop to the certification environment. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to email either of us or contact your relationship manager. Happy to get on a call or answer emails about any specific questions that a firm has that was not answered here today.
Sounds good, Amy.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.